And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome you here to the Pope Prep live stream, where we are bringing you live coverage here from Springfield, Massachusetts. It's your number 4 ranked Pope Francis Cardinals in the quarterfinal round for the first time ever in school history, here with home field advantage versus the number 12 Wilmington Wildcats. I'm Don Percy here, the voice of the Cardinals, as we are just about set and underway here for the first of 3 quarterfinal games here tonight. Pope Francis working from right to left, Wilmington working from left to right here. So as we said before, first time ever in school history that we have seen a quarterfinal game for girls soccer here at home field. And girls looking to advance to the Final Four for the first time in school history as well. Already the one team that has punched their ticket into the Final Four is none other than the Norwell Clippers, known widely across both boys and girls soccer here, with a big statement win over Auburn. We thought it would be maybe a 1, maybe a 2-goal game, but no, with an 8-0 win in the quarterfinal game, as number 3 Norwell with a steamrolling effort over Auburn here. That was a 3 versus 11 seed that was set at Norwell for the quarterfinal game here. So as we said, the first of 3 games tonight, Pope versus Wilmington, Dover Sherborne, the number 7 rank versus the number 2 Nepomuc, and then the number 1 Medfield against a team on a Cinderella run, the number 25 Tewksbury Memorial here. So we could have a very interesting, really, Final Four here if Tewksbury pulls off what could be one of the biggest upsets in quarterfinal history here, as they've already pulled off 2 with a 5-2 win over number 8 Belchertown and a 2-0 win over Martha's Vineyard. So those were 2 upsets that we already saw up in the top corner of the bracket here for D3 girls soccer. And as we take a look across the boys Division 3, unfortunately, Pope Francis's run would end, but they went down fighting hard and with a 1-0 win against Pope Francis here, as that game was set for just this past Saturday at Norwell. So it'd be a 1-0 win for the Clippers. And the number 1 team has been eliminated from the Division 3 brackets in a 2-1 loss. It was Saskatchewan versus Medfield, and Saskatchewan is set to play East Bridgewater, as they are currently the number 9 team. So looking to pull off another upset to get to the Final Four, hopefully, and maybe make some history here, as we've seen, this is the second time that we've seen some big upsets across the bracket. For those of you that may not have paid attention, it was last year, it was the Newton North, the number 31 team of the Division 1 bracket here, with a state championship win, with all 5 upsets, especially through the preliminary round here. Many people didn't even think, because it's the biggest thing, is you put the number 31, the number 32, it's kind of a joke, as they get to play the number 1 team for the bragging rights. Hey, we played the number 1 team. But in this case, they end up playing the number 2, and I believe a couple more top 10 teams, and they end up winning all the way to the state final here. They wouldn't end up playing St. John's Prep, who was the number 1 seed in the bracket, but with a bunch of penalty kick, double overtime wins, and they certainly fought hard when they needed it most. So that's to say with regardless here, especially in the state tournament. And as we said before here, all that matters here, seeding does not matter. Seeding means absolutely nothing come playoffs here. As we said before, all that matters, who wants it more and who has the heart here out on the field. Who showed up to play and who wants it more tonight here. As we've seen this big line, this big 4 line here, Dillard, Turmel, and Washkevitz here. Over 50 points so far for Pope Francis. Here, Mile Dillard with just scoring her 20th point the other night for Pope Francis, as she leads, I believe she's second in goals for the team. But overall, first points-wise, here is Ali Soja on the far side, looking to disrupt the play for the Wilmington Wildcats defender. Here, so as we said before here, a semifinal game is not yet set for the winner of this, but the winner of the Pope Wilmington game right now will play the winner of the Tewksbury Medfield game, and that will be set for a neutral site. So it could be anywhere between a long-distance shot. Here they score! It was a shot all the way out from the 50-yard line. I think it was MIAA Dillard, and it was a shot that had everyone confused here, as Pope Francis already out with a 1-0 lead. So MIAA Dillard starts the scoring off here. 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the opening half here, and Pope already has a 1-0 lead here. So Pope looking to make short work here. And again, as we said, or may not have said before, Wilmington has not had really a, let's just say, a high-seeded opponent that they have played so far. A 2-0 win over Saskatchewan in the opening round, and a 3-0 win versus East Bridgewater, who was the number 28 seed that upset number 5 Hanover here. So Pope already out of the gates with a 1-0 lead here. MIAA Dillard for her 21st point of the season here. And we got more to come, ladies and gentlemen. Bench look back at. As a Wildcats trying to get something going here off the early response here. So 1-1 shots on goal so far here, and Pope has made it count so far. For sophomore goaltender Julian Weinstein. So 1 shot on goal for Pope Francis as they lead 1-0 right now. Trying to work it out of the zone, though, was Gabby Shabelli looking up for Ali Soja. For the pass was sent into the middle of the field. Student section slowly filing in here at Pope on this cold, dark evening here for the quarterfinal matchup. Here as number 4 versus number 12. For those of you just tuning in, Pope has had every single season, boys and girls, the past 2 years, cut down by the Norwell Clippers. Here's a shot was trying to get fired off by Naomi Cowles. And a rebound shot will get saved by Kornacki off of Emily Falks on the far side here. Though, but as we said here, Pope Francis has been cut down one too many times here in the quarterfinal round by especially none other than the Norwell Clippers here, falling once again this year across the boys bracket and looking for a revenge story here this year in hopefully the state finals here as they look to claim their first D3 title and first state title in school history. MIAA Dillard again working along the side, shot there, blocked on the side by sophomore defender Hannah Hadjek. Dillard though will take it back to her corner, trying to make a move here along the close side of the field. Look for an inside lane. Has everyone going to the middle. Here as this will be a corner kick now for the Cardinals. So MIAA Dillard with her opening goal for Pope Francis here. The University of Kentucky commit, along with Maeve Turmel, University of Stonehill College commit. So 2 D1 commits on this team here in a loaded forward line here. Washevitz, Turmel, and Dillard. As a shot here will be sent just on top of the net. As we thought it could have been from here. Here it definitely did look like it went in, but no. Was just cut short here as it was sent just over the net. So student section still filing in here. Red out was the theme here. Again, come states, it will be white out, as always, here at Pope Francis. As Wilmington trying to work it back the other way here. Catherine McDonald trying to find an inside lane. Said she fires a long-distance shot for it. Is a save made by Eden Kornacki. As it's worked along the far side here. Rylan Washevitz. Trying an inside pass, leave off for Layla Rosati. Deflected here. As that could have been major trouble out in front of the Wildcats net here, but it was a deflection off one of the defenders out in front. I believe it was Hannah Hadzik, but it was a save made by Jillian Weinstein of the Wildcats so far. So 2-2 shots on goal so far. A lot of shots so far, especially for a quarterfinal game here. I mean, we've seen games where they have struggled just to get, let alone Pope Francis has struggled to get. It was in that opening round, the opening 2 shots on goal. But then we saw it was also just in that opening round. It was Drake hit with 5-1 shots on goal. They wore Pope out. They really did wear Pope out the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, but they had nothing in store after that. They had used all their energy basically on everything that was there in that first 10, 15 minutes. As the ball's trying to get worked back up the field here, Layla Rosati gives the pass off back for Ali Soja, and it's deflected out of play, and Wilmington will get possession back here. So the first time that Wilmington has played a higher ranked opponent in the D3 bracket so far here. Pope looking to head on to the Final Four for the first time in school history, where they could play the winner of the Tewksbury Memorial 25 seed versus the number 1 Medfield. And as we said, we do not have a location, a date, or a time set for that game for the winner of this game here, as it will be, as far as I was told, it will be a location between the winner of this game and the winner of the Tewksbury Medfield game. So it could be Middle Massachusetts all the way out to Eastern Mass. Could be anywhere here. Hopefully a good venue, though, regardless. So we'll certainly look to bring you a live stream of that. And if we are filming, it will be just for the folks at home, it will be a 30-minute to an hour window with the MIAA regulations here that we'll have the delay of recording. So everything will not be exactly live, but it will be a delay. So a 30-minute to an hour delay here. I believe the score might be in by then, but still, regardless, giving you highlights, replay of the game that we could see in the semifinal round. As a deflection shot here, trying to go for a Layla Rosati. Out to the middle. Wildcats looking to work it back upfield here along the far side. Just under 10 minutes gone by here in the opening half so far. Pope already 1-0 lead so far. Here, Mila Dillard with the opening goal at 4:20. Here, speak of the devil again. Mila Dillard working her way to the middle here. Broken up in the middle of the field, though, taken down as trying to fire a shot off along the far side was Peyton Ramirez, all the way out from defense. Rosati will head off the field, and Brassolarchi back on subs for Pope Francis. As Dillard will get the throw in along the close side here before it's sent back up the far side of the field once again. Now Soja with the throw in. Moves up for Peyton Beedling. Fan on the pass there. As Wilmington will regroup with it now here. Again, small details also there is what it could come down to in so many of these quarterfinal games, especially here. Hannah Johnson, good defensive breakup there. Maeve Trammell leaves the pass off for Gabby Shabelli, who finds Ali Soja looking to work it upfield. Soja looking to find Brassolarchi. Play broken up there, though. As Brassolarchi trying to get back with the ball. That'll be sent back up by the Wildcats once again here. And something we also do tend to see, especially here, is a lot of neutral zone coverage here. Not necessarily, you get the shots on goal, but it's a lot away from one team having possession here over a 2-3 minute period of time here. And it gets a lot to shots coming from 30, 40 yards out here and just getting deflections to the net and getting rebounds. That's what a lot of goals have come down to come these quarterfinal, semifinal, round of 16 games here for not only for Pope Francis, but across the state tournament here. As for those of you that may have not tuned in for the beginning of this broadcast here, it was the 8-0 smoked win that Norwell had over Auburn. The biggest blowout we have seen in a round of 8 game here this year so far, as the Norwell Clippers have punched their ticket into the Final Four once again. Here, so this is, as we said, one of 3 games tonight. Tewksbury Memorial and Medfield set for a kickoff at 6 p.m. That game is set in Medfield. And Nepomuk and Dover Sherborne set for a 7 p.m. kickoff at Northbridge Middle School. On the other end of the state here at Massachusetts, Milo Dillard working in the middle. Fan on the shot, though. With a good move, though, here to buy herself some time in the middle. Here's Pope Francis has really come to play here in this quarterfinal game so far here. Peyton Ramirez will send it back for Peyton Beedling. As Ramirez back upfield along the close side for Shabelli, who steps back with it and will leave it off for Ramirez once again here. Again, Pope, if you're Wilmingham, you got it. Certainly, you're already down 1-0 here. You're letting Pope basically just kill seconds off the clock here in their own D zone. You're putting no one on them at all. The defense has got as much time as they want here. And we've seen this cycle between Ramirez, Shabelli, and Hannah Johnson and Peyton Beedling along the far side here. Pope's in no rush at all here. Just, I mean, if you're Wilmington, I guess you're waiting for some sort of mistake here or anything, but nothing has come up so far. I mean, we just had a minute to play here in the Pope D zone. No pressure at all from the Wildcats here. So that's certainly something that you got to take into consideration here at halftime, especially if you're the coach of the Wilmingham, because you cannot have seconds, really what's going to come down to precious seconds, ticking off the clock here in a quarterfinal game here. We've seen so many times throughout the Western Mass games, throughout the opening couple of rounds of states, especially in certain games, that these final few seconds really do matter here, especially when it comes to be like final 5 minutes here. When you're all or nothing, you're down by a goal, you need something going for you at the end of the game. It is really all or nothing here, and those couple of seconds really do matter here so far. As ball we sent out a play along the far side of the field. Peyton Beedling, I believe, will get the throw in for Pope Francis, but not before subs come onto the field. So Sophie Samard will head into play for Pope Francis, and heading off is Peyton Beedling for the Cardinals here. Wilmingham without any subs so far, as under 24 now to play in regulation. The ball back into the Pope Francis D zone here. Ramirez works it up for Shabelli, who will just take it back now again. We said, Wilmingham, you got to put, even if it's just one person here, just roaming around the offensive zone, you got to have something going here for your offense. Because you've had nothing here, and Pope's literally has just been killing seconds off the clock here. It doesn't matter to them. They already have the 1-0 lead here. So if you're Wilmingham, you got to take that into consideration here. Maybe you would want one more goal to secure that, I'd say, comfortable lead here. Put it up 2-0, but right now, Pope's just done a good job cycling their own D zone. Really just killing time so far. And if you're Wilmingham, you got to pick up, because you've had nothing. You've had nothing other than 2 shots so far on Eden Kornacki. You've had nothing go for you at all. So that is certainly something that you got to take into consideration here, especially at the halftime, because the opponents that you've played so far, if you're Wilmingham, they've been lower seed opponents that, hey, you may have been able to take, hey, maybe we can take a breather here. We're up 3-0. We're up 2-0 in these opening games. Pope Francis is not that team. You really have to play the full game against Pope Francis here, and you've got to want it more than them in order to maybe come out with, I mean, we've seen here only 3 losses on the season, and from only 1 from a penalty kick from a Western Mass team, as that was Long Meadow in the final, in the Class A finals here. And we say, regardless, double overtime, penalty kicks, those are good games here. Both teams have got absolutely nothing to be ashamed of here. Took each other past double overtime, and this one was into the 5th round of penalty kicks here. But Pope looking for some redemption here, looking for a return run so far. As just about halfway gone here through the opening half of play here. Pope Francis has really just constantly been cycling around their own D zone here. Wilmington has not had any offensive zone other than we said the 2 shots that we saw on goal here. And once again, I hate to say it here, but it's going to turn into a boring game here, especially, and I apologize for the folks at home, but if Birmingham has not had a step up yet at all, Pope has just been cycling around the D zone here, and that's what really the past 10 minutes of this game has been here, as we now see Eden Kornacki getting a touch out of her own goal mound here. So we'll just brief on what we see here around the league with games so far. As across the D2 girls bracket, Duxbury, the number 1 seed, again has not had a close game at all heading into the quarterfinals here with really their closest game coming in the opening round here, a 3-0 win versus Bedford, a 6-0 win in the round of 16 versus a 6-2 win versus Minnetonka, and a 6-0 win versus East Long Meadow. And again, that was a 1 versus 8 seed. You would not expect a team, especially of those high calibers, to come out with a score like that. So, Duxbury, the number 1 seed, is set to play the number 4 Mescomaket Regional. So that'll be a 1 versus 2 matchup here. And then 2 Western Mass teams still in the Division 2 rankings here, as trying to get the ball deep into the zone here was Skevitz and Dillard, as Pope finally getting some ozone time back for the Cardinals. But no, as we look here at the remaining 2 quarterfinal games, Northampton versus King Philip, as that is an 11 versus 14 seed for the quarterfinal game. And then Long Meadow, the Western Mass Class A champs, the number 2 seed, playing the number 10 Marblehead. So a little bit of some crazy seeding going all around the bracket. But regardless, 2 games still set before we get to the semifinals for really across all the brackets here. As we take a look across maybe some local football, especially here along the D1 brackets here. The big powerhouse, St. John's Prep here across all sports. We'll get to see him when it come hockey season. Here's a breakaway near middle field here. She scores. It's Rylan Wishkevitz for the 2nd goal for Pope Francis. And that's 2 goals on 3 shots here. So Rylan Wishkevitz adds to the Pope lead and makes it 2-0. So Dillard and Wishkevitz, so far, the goals for Pope Francis. As we thought what could have been a close game here, but Pope has just come to play here, and they've shown no signs of taking their foot off the neck of the Wildcats so far here. As already with a 2-goal lead in the opening basically 20 minutes of play so far. So we have seen no stopping, all gas and no brakes so far from Pope Francis, as they now sit at a 2-0 lead. So a 2-goal lead for Pope Francis here with about 18 minutes remaining in the opening half here. So as we were saying before, we're just looking across the bracket here at the, what some would say is some local, we'll just say some well-heard school names here across the D1 bracket here. As Pope immediately, though, back into the ozone here, as Dillard trying to get something going for Pope Francis again here, trying to get her 2nd goal of the game maybe here. As Milo Dillard again up the close sideline here with a little bit of space here. Her shot blocked there. Rebound here. Deflected and pinballed out in front here. May have been blocked by Jillian Weinstein out in front of the Wildcats goaltender here. But the shots piling on for Pope Francis here as right now 4-2 shots on goal in favor of the Cardinals. But as we look here at past the opening round of the Division I football rankings, we have the powerhouse St. John's Prep with a 38-0 win against Framingham as they're to play the number 8 Leominster. And that game will be set for tomorrow at 6 p.m. And then a local school that we see a lot here, the big-time basketball rivalry between Pope Francis and Central. But Central football with a 28-15 win over Taunton. That was a 2 versus a 15. And they are now set to play the number 10 Lowell. So Springfield Central versus Lowell, that game is set for tomorrow at 6 p.m. That'll be the quarterfinal game for the Division I bracket here. And again, we said your big names here, they're really coming to play, especially as a long-distance shot here from Wishkevitz. It was time to get back in a play as she looked for a feed along the far side of the field. But so again, as we said, a lot of big names here, especially known across hockey. Zavarian versus Andover in the quarterfinal rounds, and Natick versus Central Catholic. Natick most known here with a 4-0 win last fall. It was a 16-17 matchup that the boys had, baseball had, going to the postseason, the opening round. And we said for many years, it was the question just making the opening round, getting past the preliminary round. But now it stands at getting past the opening round as the curse still continues here for boys baseball. But the Western Mass drought was over with the 3-0 win this past fall over Minnetonka to claim the Class A title. So a lot of big names here. St. John's Prep, Central, Zavarian, and Central Catholic, as well as Natick in this bracket here for Division I boys football. As we take a look here, though, at the D1 bracket for girls soccer here, the number 1 seeded Needham still in it for the quarterfinal rounds, as all of these games are set to take place either today or tomorrow here. So a lot of the high-seeded teams still in this bracket regardless, though. As we do also look to give you a little bit of a brief rundown what the winter's sports season will look like here. So we'll look to bring you boys and girls hockey. Girls hockey will be a recording of senior night here, as that is set for a game at Smead. That'll be towards I believe, Valentine's Day of 2026. So February 14th. That will be girls hockey versus HPNA at Smead. So we'll be bringing you a recording, a live broadcast, and then posting it after for girls hockey. As well as a couple of the opening round games here for boys and girls hockey across here. And also boys and girls basketball, too. Here the hockey team starts off with a big NEPSAC matchup here versus Choate Rosemary Hall, as that is set for Wednesday, December 3rd at 6. And the girls hockey will start their season off with a scrimmage versus LaSalle at Amelia. That is set for Saturday, December 6th at 5:30. And then boys and girls basketball get their starts this season with the St. Mary's tip-off tournament. Girls at 5:15 and boys at 6:45. As that is set in Lynn, Mass. Here, so a couple of road games for the boys and girls teams across basketball and hockey to start off the season, in the preseason, I should say. Here, looking for some more state titles as we hope to claim here, especially with girls soccer. As we have a timeout taken, so we'll step aside, ladies and gentlemen. With 13-14 remaining in regulation, Pope Francis up 2-0. When we return, the remainder of the first half. So off the timeout here from Pope Francis here as a 2-0 lead so far. Here with 13 minutes remaining in regulation so far. Dillard and Washkevitz with the 2 goals for Pope Francis here. As Wilmington, they got to find another gear here. They want any chance of coming back in this game. I mean, you've seen 2 shots on goal so far if you're Eden Kornacki. 2 shots on goal from a great distance out. And Pope Francis has just done a good job of, really, we said so far, killing time in the D zone and just overall ball possession. They've done a good job of that so far. Very little of the game played in the neutral zone. Very little of the game played really in either offensive zone. Here it's been just Pope Francis with D zone possession. And Wilmington just not stepping up at all. So far here, though, they look to get some O-zone possession and pressure here. As Samar looking to kick the ball out of harm's way. Hannah Johnson will send up the far side, though, for his picked back up by Chelsea Brennan, who let this one roll out along the sidelines. As taken down along the far side of the play, Samar shot blocked here by Hannah Johnson out in front. Willingham, though, still looking to make their way to the net. Long distance shot here. Kornacki with the save. As this was a shuttle on the far side by Emily Falk of the Wildcats. So 11:40 now remaining in regulation. Wilmington starting to find their gear here. Already down 2-0, though, as they have put themselves in a big hole to dig out of so far. Dillard and Washkevitz with the opening 2 goals here. And, I mean, you almost start to think here is that was a first shot on sophomore goaltender Jillian Weinstein. I mean, it was a long-distance shot from 50 yards out here. I don't really think she even saw it coming towards her, towards the net. Here, as we saw, it was very little movement, maybe a little bit of confusion in front, as maybe it could have been an offsides play. But Wilmington starting to find their groove here, getting things back into the zone. As the ball will be sent out of play, and Peyton Beedling will throw it back in for Pope Francis. Shabelli looking to work it upfield, finds Turmel. Turmel has to set it back for Sophie Samard. Samard works it upfield, trying to find Chelsea Brennan maybe for a tap pass. Instead, she finds Layla Rosati. Maeve Turmel's long-distance boot upfield here was trying to find maybe Chelsea Brennan, though. Rosati, though, picks the ball up. It's worked along the close side here. Turmel works it forward. Dillard here with a burst of speed. Shot there, sent well through the uprights. With 10 minutes now remaining in the opening half so far. Shots on goal, 4-3 in favor of Pope Francis. 2 goals, though, have gone in for the Cardinals. So far, 4 minutes in, Mila Dillard, and then 15 minutes later, Washkevitz to double down on the Pope Francis lead. As the ball is sent out of play along the far side of the field, Chelsea Brennan will get the throw-in before it's worked back upfield for Sophie Samard and Hannah Johnson. Again, we saw Hannah Johnson, Peyton Ramirez, and Peyton Beedling, Sophie Samard. They've done a good job here with the D-zone cycle here, just killing time. Here, though, the Wildcats starting to pick up on it, though. Here's, again, another turnover along the close side of the field. Now with 9:20 remaining in regulation. Wilmington will get the throw-in from Lindsay Baroussard. For ball sent immediately back up. Dillard first man on the ball here. Long distance boot, though, from LeBlanc. Is looking along the far side of the field for Hadzik. Hadzik pressured on, though, by Samar. Taking down the play. No call there at all. Here, as Wilmington might have been looking for a call here. But again, as we've said, the officials have let the boys and girls soccer teams play. They've let them play every single game. Here, they have not made it up to maybe the shaky calls. They have left it entirely up to the players here on who wants to win the game here, who's going to cost their team the game. As I was trying to get the inside feed for McGilliot. Turmel sends this one out on the far sidelines. Here, no one there, though, for the Cardinals. As the Wildcats have to regroup here. Good offensive zone pressure here. LeManche trying to cycle a pass off, though. Back for LeManche. LeManche trying to fire a shot far side. Samard breaks the play up, though. Overstepped it, though. Goldstein. Now for the Wildcats. Cycles the pass off for Lindsey Brassard. For a shot is sent on to the inside. Here, Wildcats trying to do something here. They've had some good ozone time here, trying to fire a quick shot off here before the ball is sent up into the middle before it's called offsides. Under 8 now remaining in regulation. Kornacki set to take it out of her own goal mound. Trammell working up for Dillard. Dillard over for Soja. Ali Soja trying to feed it. Middle. Block shot there. Good slide tackle attempt there, though. Wildcats pick it up. McDonald trying to work back here. Good defensive play there, though, by Ramirez. Hannah Johnson with a big step up. Here she sends Allison McElliott down to the ground here. And I believe we do have a free kick here coming for the Wildcats. So a good chance to cut Pope's lead in half. Nope. As Avery King, the sophomore defenseman, set to take the indirect kick for the Wildcats here. Under 7 to play, a good chance to be what could put Wilmington with their opening goal and cut Pope's lead in half here. Shots on goal up to this point, 4-3 in favor of the Cardinals. King shot. Sent here off the crossbar. Kornacki may have got a piece of it coming out here, though. Wildcats trying to regroup with it here. LeBlanc sends it in, trying to fire a shot off, trying a middle lane. Yeah, that was a good, strong shot here. Before it was deflected off the crossbar here from Avery King. I mean, wow, though. Could have had Kornacki beat here with a really a dart of a shot. Just outside the 20-yard line. Lamarche trying to work it forward. Peyton Beedling works off for Peyton Ramirez. Dillard, tap pass off for Ali Soja. Soja looking to work it back upfield. Now before it's taken back, though, Wildcats still here in the Pope O-zone. As I don't believe we heard a whistle on the play here. And Soja will pick up the ball, and it will be a throw forward for Pope Francis here. Dillard gets the block as it's sent out of play. So Wildcats will get the throw in as Callie Lamarche will inbound it for the Wildcats. Here's sent along the far side for Nyla Chimwanda. Chimwanda pushes Brennan down to the ground here. Call will go in favor of Pope Francis here. Nearing the final 5 minutes of regulation in the opening half so far. Pope 2-0 the lead here. Dillard with the opening goal and Washkevitz for the second. As we have a timeout taken here, so we'll step aside here. Pope Francis, 2-1 lead, 4 minutes, 57 seconds remaining on the clock when we return the remainder of the first half. As here off the timeout now, Pope France looking to work it back into the O-zone. Ali Soja sends the ball forward. Now before it's deflected out of play by Alexis LeBanc of the Wildcats. Soja trying to work it upfield for Rylan Wishkevitz. Get something going here, though. It's sent out of bounds. Ball inbounded again here. Soja and Wishkevitz trying to get possession here. Soja back for Wishkevitz. Trying to work it forward now for the Wildcats here with 4 minutes left in regulation. Get something going. Maybe get a goal here. I mean, if you had that timeout, that's something that you've got to be saying here. If you're Wilmington, you've got to say, hey, at least we got to get a goal here. If we want any chance of coming back in this game, we got to get a goal here at minimum. You're not even taking any quality offensive zone time here. You need a goal at least here to put you within range of getting any chance at coming back in this game. Maybe forcing overtime, double overtime. But if you want any chance, that's what you need. As ball will be inbounded here on the far side of the field. Before it's sent back out. And then now the 3-minute mark, inbounded once again. For all the way out to play it is Kornacki here as she stands tall in her goal mound. Dillard works it forward, trying to find Wishkevitz. Pass broken up, though, by LeBlanc. Or send him to the middle. Soja trying to head it forward here. The Wildcats looking to get something going. Is Dillard down in the field now? As slowly getting up now is MIAA Dillard. Along the 25-yard mark. As she could be in a little bit of pain here, trying to walk it off. As Wildcats trying to get something going back here. Wildcats, though, trying to get something back in the zone here. Under 2 minutes to play on officials' time now. As trying to work it back forward was Alexis LeBanc once again for Wilmington. So if you're the Wildcats, we said before, 4 to 4 shots on goal. You need something here, though. You need something. It doesn't matter whether it's just a lucky bounce, a dirty goal. It doesn't matter. You need literally anything if you want any chance of getting back in this game. And if not, you got to come hot off the rip here on the opening second half. There's no chance that you can just give Pope any breathing room if you want any chance of getting back in this game. You can't give him any breathing room. You need basically as much ozone time as you can get, as much pressure, and the chances. The chances are going to come up big here. You've had one chance. That was a shot off the crossbars. A long-distance shot here will be saved by Kornacki once again. But again, you had a long-distance shot. Here it was a free kick. Rang off the crossbar. It was a good, hard shot. It was by sophomore Avery King here. And that was really your best scoring opportunity that you had here. If you're the Wildcats here, though. But Pope has just managed to bounce on the 2 opportunities that they've had so far here. And that's what's put them up ultimately 2-0 so far. As Rosati trying to get a centering pass off for Ali Soja. Soja will look to work it upfield. Leave it over for Rylan Wishkevitz. Wildcats still looking to turn back the other way, make something happen. For the ball sent back upfield. Peyton Beedling heads the ball down. Leaves the pass off for Maeve Turmel. Turmel trying to get it upfield for Soja, not before it's broken up and sent into the air once again. Chelsea Brennan trying to break up the play, and the whistle sounds. So we are at halftime now. 2-0 Pope Francis leads. When we return, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring you the second half live here on Pope Prep. Stay tuned. Champions play here. As here off of the halftime report, Pope Francis still with a 2-0 lead here. Though Wilmington with some good ozone time here that we have seen so far in the opening minute to play here. Dillard and Wishkevitz, the opening goals for Pope Francis here. Wilmington has had some good ozone opportunity, though. LeBanc, McDonald, and Falk deep into the ozone for the Wildcats so far. Nothing to cash in, though, so far. As Pope Francis still with a 2-0 lead here. Termello's long-distance pass. You're looking to get upfield. Trying and find Wishkevitz again. Though before it's sent deep out along the far corner. As this will be a throw-in for the Wildcats here now along the close side. Emily Falk will throw it in for the Wildcats, but not before it's sent immediately back out of bounds. And this will be a kick up field. Here, though, Brassalarchi gets the header going forward. Before it rolls out of bounds slowly, though. Aaron McCarthy. Throw in. Brassalarchi blocked that one. Dillard again looking for the second deflection, or maybe the block there. Shabelli works upfield for Termel. Termel heads it forward. Was trying to get it for Mila Dillard. Here, not before Aaron McCarty again will get the throw in for the Wildcats. Trying to work it forward for Alina Goldstein. Play broken up, though. Mila Dillards leaves the pass off for Chelsea Brennan along the far side. Ali Soja. Soja with a little bit of time and space here. Again, we said this big power forward line here. Termel, Dillard, and Wishkevitz with over 50 points here in the opening, or throughout the regular season. Just with over 50 points here. Mila Dillard closing in on point number 100, I believe, at 91 right now. So someone to watch out here if you're a Pope Francis fan. May get it this year, may get it next year. Deep into the postseason here. Dillard, though, again, here working along the far side. As this will be sent out of bounds for Wilmington. And Mila Dillard again should get the throw-in for Pope Francis. Just about 5 minutes gone by in regulation so far. Dillard leaves the pass off over upfield for Ali Soja. Willingham will send this one out of bounds. Though, so again, it'll be a corner kick here for Mila Dillard. Looking for her second goal on the night. I believe 14th all season. Here, including the regular season, the Western Mass postseason, and now the state tournament. Dillard's corner kick here has the length on net. Termel trying to go for the deflection in front. As Termel having a conversation with the official now. Here, arguing it could have been in favor for Pope Francis, though. The Wildcats will gain possession. As what certainly could be an exciting moment here, as 35 minutes away from Pope Francis entering the Final Four for the first time in school history. Here, they got close last year, unfortunately, though, falling again to the Norwell Clippers here. Big-time rivalry among these two schools here. Norwell has claimed all of the victories in the last 2-3 years across boys and girls soccer, as we've said before. So Pope looking to turn that thing around, as the only time that we would see a matchup between those two teams would be the finals. Here's Kornacki all the way out to play it here. Blocked out in front. Wildcats, though, regroup with it. Pass it into the middle. A shot here. They score! As it was Allison McGillicott. And the Wildcats have come back to life here. 5 minutes and 12 seconds into the game here. So the first shot that Kornacki is beat by. So Pope Francis' lead cut in half. As I may have spoke too soon here. But we still got plenty of ball game left to be played. 34-48 remaining in the second half. Then the Pope lead has been cut to 1. Allison McElligott with the goal for the opening goal for the Wildcats, as now a 2-1 game here live from Pope Prep. Trail just trickled just wide of the net of Kornacki. As the Wildcats, what may have been a sleepy first half here, have now all of a sudden found another gear and something else that has kickstarted their heart here in this game so far. As with 2 opportunities in the opening 6 minutes, in this game that Pope maybe once thought they had in hand, has now turned into a close match that we could have on our hands. Ramirez, pass intercepted though up front. Emily Falk trying to make something happen with it for the Wildcats. Dillard though will step back, work it upfield, trying to find Wishkevitz. Not before it's broken up by the defenseman Hannah Hadzik. Trying to work it forward again is Emily Falk here. What could be a partial breakaway forward. Goldstein trying to make something happen here. Termel, though, with good defense and keeps it out. As this is going in the way of Pope Francis here. Fans not liking the call, though. Samardo got the throw in. Leaves it off for Termel. Termel sends one up the far side of the field. Well out of bounds. Brasilarchi headed immediately back out of the zone here as Emily Falk will get the throw in again for Wilmington. Termel punts it up to the 40-yard line. Wildcats, though, second and third layers of defense here coming into play here. Trying to get something going here. Shot by McDonald here. Shaky bounce all the way to the middle of the field. Kornacki was beat. Samora will have to clear it. Wildcats still in possession here. Emily Falk trying to fire a shot off, sent off the outside of the crossbar. As the Wildcats here, this is a new team that we have seen so far. I don't know what the team we saw the first half was, but this is a completely new game that Pope Francis has just entered here. And if they don't have their heads screwed on right, it could be very, very messy soon here in the opening 10 minutes. Kornacki shot again, unable to get out of the zone here. Dillard trying to dance her way up the sidelines. Leaves it off for Brasilarchi. Brasilarchi trying to find a centering feed. Not before the play is broken up, though. And it'll be sent up by Aaron McCarthy. Brasilarchi will get the throw in. Going to work it out for Peyton Ramirez. Block shot again there, though. Wildcats trying to work it. Nyla Chimwanda. Rylan Wishkevitz, though, trying to apply some pressure there. Ali Soja with a good poke to keep it forward here. Sends Alexis LeBanc back into the D zone. Soja steals the ball away from LeBlanc. Here, Brennan, though, trying to work it forward. Centers it for Gabby Shabelli. Shabelli leaves off for Mila Dillard. Dillard trying to get something going here for the Cardinals here. Now only trailing by a goal, Wilmingham. Here, as it was all Pope Francis in this opening half here. They were taking their time, D-zone coverage here. Now the tables have completely turned here. Pope has had very, very little opportunity here in their own D-zone to really gain possession and gain some breathing room. As Wilmington now leads with the shots on goal 6-4. Pope without a shot on goal so far in the opening 10 minutes of this second quarter, though. They still lead regardless, 2-1 the score. Pass going to get sent back up here, though. Turnaround, Catherine McDonald works up the far side of the field. McDonald's far shot here. Sent just out of bounds. Corner kick here now for the Wildcats. Pass centered all the way out in front. Termel trying to get the block shot there. Shot will trickle wide as it was a shot by Naomi Cowles. So heading into this game, Pope 10-3-7, as we said. The 3 losses coming from teams down the other end of the state. Nepomuk Regional was a 3-0 loss. And then the only Western Mass loss, as we said, in PKs was to Longmeadow in the Class A finals here, as that game was at Central. And then a trip to New Jersey, a loss 2-1 to Immaculate Heart Academy, the second year in a row falling to them, but certainly some improvement to be made regardless across the board. As 11 minutes gone by in regulation so far. Dillard, we're going to center the ball off. Leaves it back, though, for Chelsea Brennan. Brennan, pass back over for Ali Soja. Soja looks to give a chip pass and work it upfield. Wildcats are going to come back the other way here. Catherine McDonald tries to get the centering feed. Looking middle for Allison McGillett, excuse me, there. For the ball sent out of play along the far side. And so Layla Rosati will head into the game for the Cardinals in relief for Ella Brassolarchi. Wildcats trying to make something happen here. Force Pope to cough up the ball. 12 minutes gone by in play now here, as there's no other way to put it, but this Wildcat team has really come to play this second half so far here. And if you're Pope, you might have one timeout, and this might be the time to take it here, as you have had nothing going your way at all. You've had nothing, no ozone time, no shots on goal. You haven't even registered a shot on goal yet. And if you're Coach Dillard, you might want to be thinking, hey, we might have to start using our timeout soon just to calm things down here, because Wilmington has all the pressure going their way so far. You've had a couple of breaks upfield, but nothing that has been able to turn the way for the Wildcats so far here. As maybe I spoke too soon here, as Wishkevitz with a near partial, could have been a breakaway upfield. Oh, this shot will be sent just wide of the net. As out of Weinstein's goal mound was the punt from Brassard. Going to work it back upfield, though. Brennan picks up the ball. Leaves the pass off at the 40 for Shabeli. Shabeli finds Wishkevitz. Wishkevitz over for Brennan. Brennan trying to get a pass there, though, only to be met by a Wildcats defender. Mila Dillard's far side shot save made by Weinstein. So Pope's first shot on goal this half so far, as getting outshot so far, though, 6-5 in the game. Dillard, pass off for Chelsea Brennan. Brennan trying to give us lead pass over for Mila Dillard. Dillard still trying to dance her way to the zone. Shot there, blocked down by Weinstein again. As even at 6-6 for shots now, with 26 minutes remaining in regulation. One of the closer games that we've seen here in regulation this year so far. That and the Longmeadow games. Here, Longmeadow would play Pope in the regular season. It was 2 games here. It was a 2-2 tie and a 1-1 tie. Here at Pope, one was set for senior night here at Pope Francis, and one was set for an away game at Longmeadow. Dillard's long-distance shot here. Got the piece of it, though, was Weinstein. As this ball will be steered out of bounds. As Wishkevitz will inbound for Rosati, trying to leave the pass back off again for Layla Rosati. Wishkevitz trying to get a pass middle again for Layla Rosati, though only for Gabby Shabeli to notch it back for Sophie Samard. This ball will be sent out of play by Wilmington. So Smart will get the throw in. Smart again with a step up. Leaves the pass off for MIAA Dillard. Dillard trying to find Chelsea Brennan, though. Wildcats with some good defensive zone coverage here. As ball sent back out by Emily Falk. Trying to get to the halfway point of the line. Catherine McDonald, a senior forward here. A very, very heavy senior and upperclassman ranked roster here for Wilmington. Same goes for Pope Francis here. A little bit of split, half and half here with older classmen and underclassmen. Wishkevitz trying to find a lead pass for Layla Rosati. Could be a partial break. Kicked out, though, by Weinstein. As the opportunities now presenting themselves to Pope Francis. But slowly, though, the Wildcats still gaining possession here in the O-zone so far, as we've seen Wildcats, they had that one good push. It was the one mistake that Kornacki made, and we pointed out here, aggressive goaltending. It does pay off big time, but it also can hurt big time here. Again, a big thing with that we saw across the boys' teams. It was Max Graham here, and we had a battle with South Hadley goaltender Noah Carillon. Two big time aggressive goaltenders here. And again, we saw the play. It was really a weird play that I've never seen here. Must have been like a late game decision here by a South Hadley coach. But it was Carillon all the way up to the 10-yard line, almost as if you see in hockey where you pull the goaltender for an extra skater on the ice. Though it was, instead of subbing out the goaltender, having him go all the way to the 10-yard line and practically leaving the net empty. Here, as we saw him move all the way up to the 50-yard line just for an extra attacker. But no, it was all the way up to the 10-yard line to get anything going for them in the opening round of the Western Mass Class B quarterfinals. As Wishkevitz trying to dance this way and that. Couldn't fire a shot off, though, as it was blocked out in front by Abigail Howe. So MIAA Dillard will take the corner kick once again for the Cardinals. Looking to make it her 15th goal of the season and 22nd point so far. Dillard, long distance shot here. Had Soja streaking on that far side. Couldn't get the header on it, though. As this ball will be sent out of play. Again, only one game this season so far has gone into overtime and PKs, and that was the Western Mass Class A Finals. That was set at Central at Burkefield. And that was, that was a for those of you that may have watched the recording back, what a thrilling game. Regardless that Pope didn't come out on top, you can't get much better than that. It was a really, really thrilling game going back and forth. And you can't ask for much more better than that. You really, those are the games that you live for, games that you can basically only dream of here. Pass overtime, double overtime, then to be the hero in penalty kicks here for Longmeadow goaltender. As this is a shot here on the far side by Catherine McDonald, trying to get to the front of the net before it's sent all the way out and cleared. Layla Rosati will set it back for Ali Soja. For the Wildcats, try to get it back into the zone, though, for Wilmington. McDonald trying to get a centering feed off for Allison McGillicott. Ball inbounded once again here. Wildcats trying to work it along the far side. Beething takes down McDonald on the far side of the play. Wilmington looking for any call at all. They won't get it, though. Dillard trying to work it along the far side. Layla Rosati hot on her horse. Trying to make a play happen there upfield. Naomi Cowles So steer it out the far side, though. Under 20 minutes now remaining in regulation so far. So Allison McElligott got, excuse me, with the goal 5 minutes and 12 seconds into the second half, though. Starting it all off, though, 4 minutes into the game here. It was a really slow start for the Wildcats, for those of you that may not have tuned in. It was Mila Dillard at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. 15 minutes later, Rylan Washkevitz, two of the top point leaders for this Pope Francis team here. As the ball really just being played on the far side pinball game. Be getting thrown in and sent back out on the far side. As trying to work with it now. Wildcats defenseman Alexis LeBanc trying to get this one out of the zone. Long distance shot here, though, is a save made by Weinstein once again. For her 6th save of the night on 8 shots so far. Again, Pope still getting outshot 8-6 now. So we've only seen 2 shots, or rather 1 shot come from Pope Francis in this half so far. Regardless of the fact that they do have the lead here, though, Wildcats had found another gear for the first maybe 10-15 minutes of this opening half, and they got to find it again here if they want any chance of tying this game, maybe forcing overtime. Here's trying to work it upfield again. Avery King. Pass broken up, though, by Sophie Samard. Mila Dillard looking to leave a lob pass upfield for Washkevitz. Washkevitz trying to get something going on the close side. Gives herself a little self-pass between the legs. Washkevitz. Pass broken up there, though. Rosati picks the ball up before it's sent just to the outside. As the Wildcats will take a timeout. So we'll step aside, ladies and gentlemen, with 17:49 remaining in regulation. Pope Francis up 2-1 in the in the Division III quarterfinal round. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Champions Play here live on Pope Prep. Here off the Wilmington timeout. As this ball was set to be played out of Jillian Weinstein's goal mound. Ball was sent off sides here by Pope Francis. So now trying to work it back into the zone here. MIAA Dillard looking to get a clearing. Move it up. Wishkevitz looking to work along the far side, or rather close side of the field here. Gives himself a little touch pass with a burst of speed here now. Rylan Wishkevitz, one of the 3 leading point scorers here on this Pope Francis team. We talked about it a lot. The big line, Termel, Wishkevitz, and Dillard for soccer here. Wishkevitz leaves a little touch pass off for Dillard. Now for the ball sent out of bounds. Here, as we saw, it was 3 people getting sucked into the corner here for Dillard and Wishkevitz. So certainly leaving someone open up front for the for Pope Francis to maybe find an open man. Going center field here, though. Wilmington has done a good job, as we saw in those opening 10 minutes here. Have not had that same spark that they've had as Pope Francis has started to capitalize on more of the opportunities here and gain some more possession. But something's got to click here if you're Pope Francis, and especially if you're Wilmington. If you want any chance at tying this game up, getting another opportunity here, you need something in these last 16 minutes here. Because as we said before here, all that time that Pope Francis was killing in the opening half here, it does not come back here. Time becomes your greatest enemy, as you find in the final 5 minutes of the game, in the final 4, however much time is left here. Final 5 minutes, though, will be officials' time here. So for all we know, it could be that 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes that we have added here. However much the officials feel that time has been wasted. Though, the one thing that we will say, though, is that they're letting both teams play here. Pope Francis and the Wildcats. Whoever's going to win the game, it's going to be decided amongst the teams here. No bad calls. No little shaky, maybe, oh, we could have made a better call. Nope. Refs have put the whistles away here in the state tournament, and you got to respect them for that. They're leaving it up to both teams to decide here. I think that certainly has played into a key factor here, as we see, as we said before, 1 of 3 quarterfinal matchups here. Dover Shearborn and Nepomuk Regional, the number 2 versus the number 7 seed, set for a quarterfinal matchup at 7 tonight at Northbridge Middle School. So the winner of that will take on the number 3 ranked Norwell Clippers. And then the winner of this game set to take on Medfield Tewksbury Memorial. And I think, especially with the officials letting both teams play here, I think that has definitely played into a key factor here, especially in the case of Tewksbury. But also the fact that it's just been a team that's wanted it more ever since. We've said here, state tournament here, you're coming in here, you play the preliminary round, you know, you had a 3-0 win over Chicopee, so you had 2 wins against Western Mass teams in the opening 2 rounds here, the preliminary round, the division, and the round of 32 here. The burst of speeder trying to cut to the middle, Aaron McCarthy, though broken up by MIAA Dillard here, as she leaves the play upfield for Rylan Wishkevitz, as just sending this one out of bounds, though, is Aaron McCarthy. But again, as we said, Tewksbury with 2 Western Mass wins here in the preliminary round and the quarterfinal round. A 3-0 win versus the Chicopee Pacers, and a 5-2 big win over the number 8 Belchertown. It's a long-distance shot here from MIAA Dillard. She scores for her 2nd of the game, and she may have put this game out of reach for Pope Francis, or for the Wildcats. As 3-1, Pope Francis now leads. The quest of getting to the Final Four has now turned into what could be something actually possible here, as Pope with a 3-1 lead so far. So MIAA Dillard, I believe her 14th or 15th goal in the season, as she has put Pope Francis on her back so far tonight here in the quarterfinal round of states. And the Wildcats have got to have something click here soon if they want any chance of getting back in this game. So Dillard with the opening goal and the third goal. Washkevitz with the second goal. And then Allison McGilliot with the one lone goal for the Wilmington Wildcats here. And as we said, we look at this bracket. And if you were Wilmington, you had probably your best game was against Scatchewate. A 2-0 lead here. As all the way out to play it again here is Weinstein. As, again, the clearing attempt failed to get out here. But was picked up by Washkevitz. Samard looking to work it forward. Mila Dillard looking for the hat-trick goal. Hungry for more here. 12 minutes now remaining in regulation. Quest to the Final Four may now be possible for Pope Francis here. As they lead 3-1. And if the scoring holds here, Pope Francis could be set to take on the winner of the number 1 Medfield, number 25 Tewksbury. So we could very well see a top 4 matchup. Or rather a top 5 matchup here. As the top 4 seeds all still in the tournament here. And as we look here, as one of the games here, the Potomac Regional and Dover Sherborne here, we had a really big high-scoring game here in the round of 8. As Medfield trying to get something going here. Samard takes Allison McGilliot down the play. And the Wildcats with what could be an opportunity to gain some life back here. There's a free kick at the 20-yard line. Or rather the 16-yard line for the Wildcats. So McGilliot with a chance to get her second goal of the game and put the Wildcats back within a goal here. Down by 2. If you're Wilmington, you need something here. McGilliot's shot at the 16. Sent wide of the net. $10:30 now remaining in regulation. So as we said, we look across here at the bracket. Dover Sherborne, the number 7 seed, had an interesting journey to get to where they are right now in the quarterfinals, to say the least here, with a bye past the preliminary round and 2 relatively high-scoring games here. A 6-0 win over North Middlesex Regional and a football score of a soccer game, a 7-5 win over Cardinals Spellum, 12-goal combined game. So scoring going back and forth in the round of 16. Though, as we said before, still plenty of opportunity for the top seeds, the top 4 seeds, to see possibly postseason matchups here along the semifinal and final rounds here, as all top 4 is still in it. So again, scoring holds, Pope Francis wins. They will play the winner of the Tewksbury Medfield game. We do not have a set date or time for that game. Well, a set date, time, location, nothing so far. It will be a neutral site, and those of you that are tuning in, it'll be a 30-minute to an hour delay behind the actual play time, so we still will be able to bring you live. We'll still be able to bring you coverage. It'll just be a little bit delayed. Here's the ball worked along the close side of the field, deep into the Pope O zone, as it was Samard with a good box out on Elena Goldstein. Termel takes out of her own goal mound, or takes out of Kornacki's goal mound, rather. Not her own goal mound. Kornacki, senior in net, has done a great job so far, and has done a great job in the past couple of years here with Pope Francis. As Allison McGilliot Going to work this ball forward here for the Wildcats. 8 minutes now remaining in regulation. Wildcats still looking to work it forward here. Get something going here in the last 8 minutes. And I think they're starting to find another gear for the Wildcats, but as we said, time is just going to be your greatest enemy here. You don't think it is, but it really does here. I mean, we saw it was close to, 5 minutes wasted? Just Pope passing in the D zone in the opening half here. And other than that, Wilmington has just had Pope Francis. Pope Francis has done a good job of coverage, possession, everything that they've done so far here throughout their own D zone, neutral zone, everything that they've had so far. They've done a good job of that, to say the least. As Chelsea Brennan was looking to get this ball up forward for Hannah Johnson. As the ball will be inbounded now, Chelsea Brennan leaves it up for MIAA Dillard, looking to give herself a self-pass. Touch pass, though. Brennan leaves it back off for Dillard. Dillard fakes the shot again here, looking for goal number 3. She scores! It's MIAA Dillard! Goal number 3 of the night! And this is just turning into a runaway here at Pope Francis. As with 6:46 remaining in regulation, Dillard, hat-trick goal here for Pope Francis. And student section on their feet here. Red out was the theme here, and now this game out of reach for the Wildcats here, as what was once a good 10-15 opening minutes here for the Wildcats has just turned into their worst nightmare so far. I believe, on the season, and no bigger than in the quarterfinal state game here. As with a 4-1 win now, Pope has played this game just how you wanted it to. They've done good with the ozone opportunities. Not much to complain about here, especially if you're a Pope fan. And they've just made the little details count here. That's what's ultimately put them up to this point. That's why they've dominated the opening round, the round of 16, and now what's going to be the round of 8 here. And what was once the quest to win a Western Mass title here. You had many, many greats. You had Isabella Meadows, UConn commit. You had now MIAA Dillard and Stonehill College commit Maeve Trammell. University of Kentucky and Stonehill College, 2 D1 commits here. What was once a program that started out from so little has now turned into something to celebrate about, or what could be here in the postseason. As looking for their first state title, the dream will still continue here as the Cardinals lead 4-1. Dillard, 3 goals. Wishkevitz with 1. And then McGelliot with the 1 for the Wildcats. As Rylan Wishkevitz looking to put the cherry on top for the Cardinals here. Pass it in the middle looking for Hannah Johnson. Johnson taking it out on the far side. Don't believe we'll get a call, though. As now on officials' time here with under 5 to play in regulation. So Dillard and Wishkevitz. Having a little talk here about what's going to go on. Indirect kick here. Wishkevitz looking for his second goal. And they put Pope up 5-1. Shot here. Well through the uprights. As Brasselarchi coming onto the field. And Rosati heading off for the Cardinals. Under 5 to play in regulation. 4-1 Pope Francis leads here. Score will hold. Maybe one or two more goals here. But Pope Francis, for the first time in school history, will be heading on to the Final Four. We set a program that started out of nothing. You had the Isabella Meadows era. Unfortunately, no state titles there. A Western Mass title, though. Now in the Mila Dillard and Maeve Trammell era here for the Cardinals. As Kornacki all the way out to get this one for what could be one last save here. So time ticking down. So our clock up here says 1:30 remaining in regulation. So the question now across the bracket here. Does Tewksbury's Cinderella run end in the round of 8 against the number 1 Medfield? Or do we see a top 5 matchup here between Pope Francis and Medfield come semifinals? As we said, don't know of an exact date, time, or location for anything yet so far. So we're all up in the air here. We will do our best, though, to bring you coverage of the game here. I will do my best to be here commentating here. Those of you that may not have tuned in, 30-minute to an hour delay past the actual live broadcast. Under a minute now on our clock here, remaining in regulation. As the Wildcats looking to maybe get one more rush headed forward here. But, I mean, where does it all start here? You had quality opportunities here from Pope Francis just throughout the whole game. As Eden Kornacki will get one more save here. Tell me 10, 20. As now what is 20 seconds on our clock here in the booth. All right, so our clock here reads 10 in the booth here, though officials' time might be a little bit less. Or a little bit more, I should say. Dillard looking to work it forward. Anytime right now here, though. Pope Francis, though, for the first time in school history, will join the boys hockey team in a Final Four run. As the final seconds wind down here. Kornacki saves this shot here. Shots on goal are 9-13 in favor of the Cardinals here. A well-fought season, certainly, by Wilmington, coming here to Pope Francis. Unfortunately, though, tonight they will fall short in the round of 8. So while the Western Mass season may not have gone Pope's way, the state tournament, the quest for a state championship, is still alive here. As for the first time in school history, Pope Francis is heading to the Final Four for girls soccer. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up, the Cardinal postgame. We'll break down what we saw and what we hope to see in the Final Four game. Live here on Pope Prep. Post game here as the team gets their Final Four picture out here on the field. So for the first time in school history, the girls team is headed to the Final Four here, where they'll play the winner of the number 25 Tewksbury and the number 1 Medfield. There's not much to say here. It was a game from start to finish that the girls dominated, and you couldn't ask for much more. Mila Dillard, 3 goals. No bigger time to step up here. The University of Kentucky commit, no bigger time that she could have stepped up here. Rylan Washevitz with a goal under her belt as well. And a 4-1 win. Kornacki solid in net here for Pope Francis. As next time we will see you, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be at a neutral site here in the semifinal round. As this is Don Percy, the voice of the Cardinals, saying so long from Springfield. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a nice night.